ESL One Cologne is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, MSI, DHL, Alienware, Betway, Logitech G, and Pay Safeguard.
A 1-1. It is indeed the equalizer from Colombia in the 90th minute that does take us into overtime. No third map for us here. I do have none other than YNK and Sponge hanging out at the desk. And we're going to be breaking down Mirage. Now, we expected it to go the way of Mouse, framed it as the fact that G2 is almost exclusively, especially with Shocks, banned it. Existence is not a fan of it either. And of course, it's one of the strongest maps. In fact, Yanko at times said they were the very best in the world. However, we acknowledge they fell off. That's the summary of the pre-match. 16-10 the result. Let's do the post. Yanko, what's your thoughts on this one?
I think G2 was closer than expected. You know, they were losing some silly rounds that game, losing a couple of anti-ecos, even to mousesports. We didn't see like too much from them in terms of some strategies or anything, but at least we saw some good elements of team play. We saw Kenny S have another good game, which is great for them coming into that third map that Smith was so eagerly waiting to play.
Can someone convert after a bloody pistol? So far, you know, they're just struggling to get the conversion rate at all.
It's already moved. But this round, when they double peak, I didn't think it was a bad idea because their thought process was the guy has a scout. He double peeking, he can't kill us both, right? The problem is they didn't do it quite well, and he was behind the corner, so he could take the shot and fall back and switch to the deagle, and then things went horribly wrong. So that might be a good example why you see teams in 2v1s not force the issue. Rather play passive, let him even plant, and then go together, try to win the round.
Unless you get it perfectly, there's such a margin for error.
I still think that was a good call. I just think it was unfortunate.
I think it's a coin toss either way. That's kind of Counter-Strike in a nutshell.
Unfortunate was not checking sight when you're in a 1v1 and staring at jungle.
Here's why I think that happened, though. Because of how much time had elapsed from Rops and how quiet he was, right? If he was in the bomb site at that time in the round, you would have been expecting him to plant. You'd be thinking the bomb would be going down at this point in time. So he's tunnel visioned, assuming, oh, he's juked me, he's outplayed me here, you know, and that's why he's just beelining it without even checking the bomb site. So that's probably what, you know, would have played into his head at that point. That's what would have played into my head, and I assume that's the situation that unfolded.
It makes a lot more sense than him clearing sight by looking at jungle. Yes. My brain makes more sense now.
But can we just say how awesome Chris J is?
I couldn't agree more. He's a doer.
I love it. I love watching how, especially on Mirages, time and time again, sure. I think there was one game where I praised him and then Peter from HTV.org kind of, he didn't slam me, but he made like a counterpoint that Chris J initiated a lot of rounds, but also died a lot as well. And that obviously hindered as much as it did help.
He has died the most on mousesports this series.
But he is initiating a lot of these things, even on the eco rounds. The CZ where he pushes, gets a kill, able to get the AK up, grab a second kill in the round. He was having a lot of impact. And the fact that he, out of every single player on this team, when you have the likes of Oscar, Snacks, and Sunny, who are all relatively aggressive in their playstyle, it's Chris J opening up a lot of rounds with huge amounts of impact.
Has Oscar had a good map so far here in Cologne? No, that wasn't me trying to call him out or make a joke. No. I feel like I've often seen him at the bottom. I haven't got an Oscar clip in the top of my head from... These
are the questions, though, right? This is at some point, room is going to have to be given up, and when you want Oscar to be he's meant to be the mantelpiece star of this team, right?
It has been.
This is when, you know, mousesports can be at their best. He's been a little bit lackluster,
especially considering he didn't even travel to Brazil, right? So he had that extra time to unwind a little bit, you know, get used to being in one specific time zone and just, you know, have some fun, hone some of his skills, focus maybe on, he was playing a lot of FPL during the time. So I think it might just be a slow start, a slow day for him even, and it's also different when you add another player to the team. Sure, you might want to keep things the same on paper, but things are not exactly the same, right? So it takes a little bit of getting used to from everyone involved.
Yeah, and with that said, I do want to make sure we have time to talk about Inferno, because this is quite an intriguing one for me.
This is another of the old playgrounds of the French, really. You know, like when we talked about them coming in from... Actually, I don't want to talk about that. It was so long ago. But even like the old lineup, they were the first ones with Smiths and Kenny S. That lineup, I think they were Envy at the time, who started throwing the deep banana smokes and were always cheating a player over. You know, there were people trying to exploit the timing when Kenny throws the smoke from Arch to just dry peek him while he's on the smoke. That's how much people knew like the timing of when they used to do it. So they figured out they set the meta game at different times on this map, and you know, it gives you maybe some confidence coming into this one that they're going to be comfortable on it, like we saw them on Dust 2.
I mean, yes, some of Kenny's most infamous clips are even on Inferno as well, so I think he's capable of that close quarter AWPing on that A side. Scary stuff.
Well, this map always delivers, and I think, you know, not only the CT side, the way they evolved, the T side as well, and we've already seen some tweaks on the executes that they were doing on Dust 2 compared to what most teams are doing. I expect maybe similar scenes as well. They had like a force buy round with all these A smokes and flashes that, you know, everyone was stealing and using from around the world. So let's see if they've been able to reinvent something like that here. But for me, we need Oscar to come online first and foremost. I think mousesports still across the board in terms of skill level. They should have the CT on lockdown. There are definitely those weaknesses to be exploited for, I was going to call them Titan, for G2.
Wow.
That's a roll. That's throwing back the years a bit. But I think that, you know, you can still find and exploit Smiths in existence.
I do want to quickly add some context to what we're saying here. You're suggesting that G2 have a real shot here. You're suggesting that the G2 that bombed out at ECS, that have struggled for however long it's been now, months if not years of struggling to find that top again, could be in the playoffs of ESL One Cologne in one map's time.
I think it's not because we say about existence like he's some crazy mastermind, no, but it's because he gives a lot of detail, attention to detail and attention to the fundamentals, right? Some of the kills that they got on Dust 2, for example, their T-side, the opening kills, it's not Kenny S having the best long spawn, A long, and just getting the peak with the op. No, it's using the Molotov for that corner in B and then forcing the player out and getting a kill in the first 15 seconds of the round, maybe exploiting some tendencies, right? And that gives you hope coming into Inferno map where we talked about the mid-round CT aggression and pop flashing. That's something that G2 even before with Shocks was good at, like that mid-round CT aggression. So if they can have that, at least try to do it, if they're trying to play in that way, that's a good sign for G2.
I think just one point, just to build on that as well, is their T side on Dust 2, the way that they were able to mitigate the aggression that was coming out from mousesports when they wanted to push long. There was rounds like, okay, so they've lost a kill, they've gone for aggression, and they were ready for those kind of plays. And when that comes into it as well, when the brand of Counter-Strike recently has been more about brawls and individual style, if they can make sure that they don't just get picked apart once they do find the opening kill on the default, they're already one step in the right direction to winning a map like Inferno, which is hugely rotation-based.
G2 beating mousesports for a spot in the playoffs would certainly be quite the storyline.
I mean, it's one of the better opponents they can get, right? Mousesports just added snacks and all of that stuff is going on with them. I think for G2, they need to polish their game a little bit, though, coming into this one, be a bit more disciplined. They can't afford to win both pistols and then lose both force buys again, right? I agree that on average, probably, you know, mousesports has more firepower, but on a map like Inferno, we realize there's no favorable side. The only thing that favors teams is who has control of the economy. So G2, when they like take that eco and have some economy going, their usage of utility should be pretty good, at least on paper. And then if that transpires, then it's down to the players to like get it done to a decent enough level.
Okay, so I'm going to ask us all to put our money where our mouth is. 50 cents. Euros on your winning team, just because I think us to take this seriously.
50 cents.
Yeah, Oscar is going to show up finally. He's going to have one of those Oscar performances. He's going to be doing lots of dry peaks, middle, and nasty things that hurt. Okay. And Kenny's going to get out-orped. I say mousesports win series.
I'm with you on the mousesports train of things. Yeah. I'm just curious once again where Snacks is going to slot in so far, just in Stico's position. If that's the case, I believe he'll be over towards the quad side, linking up with Rops. You know, those two anchoring that site, and then Oscar over towards Arch.
And Snacks, that's such a
pretty deadly, right?
Strange combination
and
of humans.
And they're quite contrasting in terms of, you know, Rops is that hardcore anchor kind of guy that we look towards, and Snacks can do it all. He's very versatile, so I expect a good dynamic between those two. I'm leaning toward mousesports. I think they're
two for Mouse. Yanka, what's your read here?
I don't think Oscar is going to have a good game. I think he's going to have another bad game, but I think the rest of the team is good enough to cover for that. Likes of Sunny, he always used to have good Inferno games, but I think he is going to be how G2 approaches this game. I don't like double up necessarily on CT side on Inferno, but if mousesports goes for that default style lot, it can work. I would just like to see Kenyas, who's had a great series so far, be the single op and keep moving around constantly. He was very good at times at getting those peaks through window or being aggressive in apps even, and then switching it up one round going to be, that makes it very difficult to call, very difficult to read when you're playing against an opper as mobile as that. So I'm going to go with G2 if they don't make some massive blunders in terms of losing anti-ecos or losing to force buys after winning pistol. I think they can close this out. They feel loose.
Oh yeah, they are looking loosey-goosey, and of course the new roster from G2 have sliced their way to a third map. Let's see if the Samurai can go ahead and get themselves to that stage and crowd. The Lanxess Arena hanging in the balance here. It's Inferno, the last digital battleground. mousesports and G2 with Moses and Pansy. Is that okay, Lauren? Did I get that right?
Crushed it, Alex. Absolutely crushed it.
He
Love
called you
that.
out.
Yeah, look. I'm just surprised he leaves his headset on long enough to actually hear what we say, if
Well,
anything.
if he poses a question, he's kind of got to, doesn't he? Listen, let's leave all that behind. It is map 3 here. We are underway, and yes, the winner of this goes to the arena. Chris J on top of the car at the moment. He's actually being pretty bold, all things considered. He does have a teammate back towards CT Spawn. That's Sunny with one flashbang, but Chris J is about to walk into a stack. Smith's in existence, patiently waiting. He's going to go down for sure. They've dropped down. He gets nothing. Flashbang comes out, but it's too little, too late. Oscar has spotted Shocks. This could be the equalizer very early on, and here it is. Here's the swing out. One shot is all it takes.
And maybe an early start for Oscar could bode well for his performance down the line. He's not had the biggest performance so far, highlighted on the desk. He's been slacking in comparison to what you'd want to see from him. And maybe he is one of those players who could respond to a bit of confidence from the opening rounds. But all that aside, it is the 4v4. And the T-side do have somewhat of the stabilizing element of banana control, but it seemed like a wild attempt there from Body, maybe a last-ditch attempt, but it wasn't necessary. You had 3 players, still had utility on Kenny, and B's still up in the air here.
It seemed like he panicked a little bit once he got into the contact. There's the smoke for spawn side. Oscar is going to be having a quick flank here, but it all depends on G2 if they're even able to get into the bomb site, and it might not matter. Oscar's going to turn the corner. Kenny's watching it, but can't win the fight. There's Oscar. He's got 2. He finds his 3rd. And you're exactly right. A nice, good pistol round like that for Oscar might just mean that he can heat up.
We'll see how this build's going forward for him. He is one of those that could respond to it. That's the start we haven't seen from him yet. And also a pistol round for mousesports. They have been in dominant fashion going G2's way. Then obviously the turn comes in, but for now this is a good start for mousesports here.
Yeah, but remember, we'll see if a team can actually convert the second round after winning the pistol. We haven't seen it yet in this series, as Chad mentioned on the desk. That falls to mousesports, and it is investment from G2. Armor, utility, CZs, no Deagle, oddly enough, as we see plenty of Deagles these days in these rounds. But on Inferno, it seems like G2 want to get in your face. They won a round like this on Mirage at the B bomb site, just streaming down. As it usually is with CZs, it's all about if you can get those opening kills, if you can find the space for the CZs to start wrap around and really use the mobility to great effect.
It's going to be tricky to bring them to bear, considering the positions currently being held by mousesports. They're pretty deep to a degree. I guess Oscar could be one to play to it. Rops on the very verge of that balcony, but Smith's even at range. That was Graveyard that he just picked up. And they're on the side. This seems sloppy from mousesports. And then some. They just completely rolled over. That was awful in comparison to what I'd expect from them. Good work from G2, but you don't expect it to go that well, that smoothly. I don't know if they can turn this. Rops and Chris J doing what they can, but Existence holds the line. Rops comes back in, but it's a 2v2. This is still up in the air here.
Oh, Shocks is feeling nervous. No HP to really get into a great fight, and he's just biding his time. He does find that Rops coming out of Palace, and Existence. Triple kill for him in the round as he picks up the M4 to grab 2. That's huge, and as I said, the entries are massive. Snacks the first one down in Graveyard. A missed opportunity on balcony. I believe that was Body who kind of missed the initial fight and then just couldn't get into a great position, had to hide in the smoke, even with the fast flank. mousesports was set up in so many different ways to recover in that round and just couldn't get enough on the initial contact.
No, a little sloppy if you wanted to see a clean mousesports game here. G2 now with that window of opportunity themselves. Couple of rifles up for grabs here for them. They're going to be running that. Couple of SMGs as well. Smith's on his, but...
That's not an ideal Molotov.
No, it's not the dream. But, you know, they're talking about how great G2 in yesteryear were at the deep smokes and Molotovs. They're just doing it to themselves here. It's meta game, Jason.
Yes, that's a good point. They want to show how good they are at Molotoving that portion of the map. Well, some tags coming out. Chris is sticking around for a fight. He wants to stay at this half wall. He does have Sunny staying aggressive as well. There's the peek from Chris J. He's being forced back. They know exactly where he is. Pop Flash comes in, but it blinds him more than anyone. And there's a nice pre-fire to the corner. Oscar can't get anything done. 9 HP. He's got to readjust his position. They're going to smoke it off, and there's a minute left on the clock. They don't have to just kind of steam into this bomb site. They can take it slow. As you can see, Body, he spotted out Sunny in the back, waiting for the response, waiting for somebody to come through the smoke or peek coffins. It doesn't happen. And G2, it's only a matter of time before Kenny picks up that bomb and marches his way into the B bomb site. Shock's watching the flank as well. Going to be able to prevent any danger coming out from Ropso, though. He does check the corner, just can't win the fight. And that's pretty much it.
Yes, it feels like all she wrote for this round. They gave it a good shot. And then nothing really came from it, even though they were in positions where they could have made it work. Just not there this time. 5 alive now for G2. Good for their money to build in the right direction if they want to bound into this one. Off the back, mousesports suffering, of course. It's always a tricky one, this map, without that utility beside you to try and keep that utility as high as you can and retain dominance on this map. However, Oscar cannot keep hold of anything, and it's just Snacks left alive in a 1v5. And can he get anyone? Can't even stay alive. Kenny does find him.
That's my favorite song. 2-1. This time, mousesports, you have to start thinking towards the future, and the tough part for them is both your oppers sitting below 2K. And you're going to buy in the next round. So without kills of some sort, won't have money to bring out those weapons, especially with Chris J. He invested in armor this round, light armor. I'm not sure why he did that. I don't know if that was a misbuy or what, but that seems very, very curious for Chris J. Stacked towards this B bomb site, though. Maybe it's because he wanted to defend against the nades with the position he has, but I don't think that's going to do a whole lot. There's a nice dink with the USP. There's the swing out. Smiths knew it was coming. He read the play. He's got existence to back him up, and Kenny, for that matter. Still taking some losses as they get aggressive around the corner. Kenny now holding the trigger, and it's a 3-for-3 trade, and the Molotov comes out. That's going to prevent any kind of aggression, almost burning Sunny alive. That Body should be able to make it clean to this A bomb site. They know where the remaining 2 players are. I think all they've really lost is an M4 and a Galil, which actually, now that I say it out loud, is not that great. So if they do recover that M4, that's a great find for the mousesports side.
Maybe.
You just save that weapon. Even the Galil, that's going to give you so much utility on a map that requires you to have utility.
And here it is. There's the pickup. You're seeing it in place.
Oh, yeah.
That's not bad. Maybe the armor was some master plan that he...
Yeah, right? I take it all back, right? As usual.
Something doesn't make sense. Let me prove you wrong, Jason. But this round, it is the name of the game to keep control of the weapons remaining for both sides, really. The money is okay for G2. Perfectly fine. On the other side, mousesports want any opportunity they're given to try and build off the back of it. So hopefully for them, they can keep these in the pockets. Going forward, we might see that utility then come down the line when they don't obviously have to reinvest into it. But mousesports making a little bit of an impression, even though they really didn't have much this round to work with.
The economy issues of getting 3 kills if you're mousesports, it's not that great considering G2's on the T side. They can manage those far better. So that's not a huge benefit for him. Chris J at 4,000, going to keep that Galil, and he's going to invest some of that money in kit and utility. I believe it's Oscar with that saved M4 as well. So the 2 oppers get past the weapons to keep as much money behind them as possible. So if they do happen to lose this in the next round, they can actually pick up, or at least Chris J would be able to pick up an op if they want to try and force buy in some capacity. So nice job saving those weapons, and Chris is burning 24 HP, eats so much nade, so much damage.
Oh, God.
And it spreads behind him. He has no idea. That is a really rough round for him, never seeing anything that's coming.
That's tough. Considering this could have been a big launch pad back into this game, that's a really tough loss to start with, but there's still hope here. Still have utility alive. They just have to split the additional player right back over towards B. They couldn't just have that nice little, I guess, more defined piece of it. And 3-1.
3-1. Rops boosted up on the windowsill. They've got Snacks behind him. at the hay card, able to double up if it comes to that. G2 being quiet across the map. No indication what's coming if you're mousesports, although somehow they have the read. Sunny's rotating over. Here comes the counter utility. Molotov to force Snacks out, and he's looking away. There's the drop down from Body, and Smith gets one as well. That's the defense shattered. They're not aware of Oscar, though. And actually coming through the smoke is Sunny, but now Oscar's left all alone. 1 versus 3, gets nothing done. Can only find Kenny. A nice hit from G2 gives them their 4th.
This is a nice-looking G2 side for hits like that. It looks composed, but I mean, how much is that mousesports not being on point? I don't know. I don't want to read into it early, but this looks quite well oiled from a team that really shouldn't be.
Smith said it. The foreshadowing. He's like, third map's Inferno, and that's no problem. So here we go. 4-1. There is going to be a 4 spot here, as I mentioned, with the saved Galil and M4. It's going to allow Chris J and Oscar to get those AWPs, and they force around it. 2 Famas on Rops and Sunny, just the CZ and armor on the Snacks. But obviously, with the double op in play, they have more than enough firepower to be able to overcome this round. The question becomes, is G2 going to get caught off guard by it?
Smith's is being caught off guard by what looks like nade so far, so maybe.
So Chris 8 and 8, I think Smith's, it was either, I mean, he might have been tagged to that broken wall, but either way, he knows the op is out in play. Chris J definitely fired that weapon, so he has the idea of what's coming. He's telling his team there's a 4 spy, and now he knows Chris is there, and Existence is going to get taken down. Kenny going to lead the way now with this MAC-10. Chris, 14 HP, abandoned in that B bomb site. Maybe don't want to do that as Sunny kind of comes back.
Yeah, give him a little help here. Gonna be playing it from the back of the boxes. That Molotov, Chris has to be careful. He doesn't want flashbacks to last time. Actually gonna put that out, maybe use the smoke a little. Does isolate 1, catches out Shocks, and he's probably seen the others cross. So Sunny is holding cards close to chest, and they don't check on it. Now, Body does find him in the end. There's Kenny coming in. Now that's the 2v2. They will be close to sight, though. That call's going to be made very early on when that hit came in, but Kenny seems aware that there could have been a man on Banana very early on. That bomb is not in position to plant just as of yet. They don't have a smoke or anything yet to go to, so this could be quite tricky for them to get that bomb planted, unless they get that additional pick, but you have Rops waiting over by the CT side of the matter, and then you need to lock down Banana here, but Kenny looking away from it, and you can see Snacks getting quite up close. And a missed shot from Kenny here. This puts him on the line, puts him under pressure, but maybe he can rise to the occasion. The first falls towards Snacks, but now the second is going to be tricky. Rops on the site. Kenny might not know how close he is as of yet. 3 HP is all he's got. And Rops is making a whole lot of noise here. The fake on the bomb, though. He gets the shots. Composed under pressure. That's the Kenny you're looking for. 4 kills when it matters.
As with a 4 spy as well, just kind of playing the game and saying, I doubt you have a kid, and just kind of swinging out a little bit wider and finding the shoulder. The quick reactions. Kenny wins a 1-on-2, and that's critical. That might have actually just broken mousesports so early on. It definitely broke their economy. But you're down 5-1 now if you're mousesports after winning the pistol. And this is heartbreaking. This is economic depths of mousesports just don't have enough to really play with, and now again they have a decision to make. And this, I imagine, is going to be a half buy. They have the full losing bonus in their favor, so you might as well invest in some pistols, some light armor, a little bit of utility, maybe some smokes to try and stall them out. But if you're mousesports, you got to get started on this defensive side early. Those ops didn't do enough work.
Don't know how many answers mousesports will have in this. This is around the... Okay, 5-7. What a rarity. You don't see that often. Kind of got shunned aside. Deagles came out into favor, and CZs, of course, always stayed there. But this is...
Missed the Tech 9, though.
Do ya? Absolutely not. Oh, you love a bit of that, though, don't you? Bit of spam through the wall. See you later, Ops. Whoa. It's all the damage to be achieved without really committing much.
G2, I mean, with their utility up towards Banana, in the previous round as well, up towards, middle, they've done a good job of just avoiding early damage in these rounds. When the ops have come out from mousesports, they had the double op. They haven't taken too much from utility. G2's done a good job of heading into the mid-round scenarios with advantage, whether it's in health, whether it's in manpower, whatever it might be. Now addressing this B bomb site once again. You've got Shocks and Boiler. Gonna peek out towards the lane. Snacks is there. There's the shoulder spotted. Doesn't want to take the fight, just has the intel. Plenty of time for Kenny. Sees the trajectory of the smoke, knows one's inside the bomb site, takes the blind shot. Presence felt at both sides of the map. If you're the mousesports defense, just trying to play patiently behind these smokes. The clock is winding down. Sunny has one smoke over towards the B bomb site. Unfortunately, G2 isn't heading there. They could force him into an awkward execute. It's Oscar who's going to be under pressure. He's all alone in the cubby with this deagle.
It does make me nervous when we get to this time. He did find body for free almost there, 20 seconds. And this is where things get a bit scary because there's still power to be had. And that's the breakdown of it all. Rops was broken so early and now recovers. 10 seconds, Kenny's on the run, trying to keep hold of that AWP. He's getting the hell out of dodge. That was a misstep from G2 and a great pickup for Mouse as Christian might even get this AWP away. Gonna see that barrel. And there it is. What an upgrade that will be.
mousesports slow play it behind those smokes, behind the utility, and obviously Rops with a great play. Somehow just pushes in towards those A-holes, finds the kill, gets the AK-47, is able to spin and help out. That one kill from Oscar was just enough. Lets him know exactly what's coming. The numbers on Rap side. So the player inside the site and in halls can react accordingly. Gives mousesports their second round, and now the double op is back again. Full utility as well. They've got kits to work with. mousesports, the fortunes have been reversed, so now it gets much more difficult for G2. They no longer have that economic advantage, the utility advantage to lean on.
Ripped out of their hands after what looked like perfection to begin with. Chris J would be the one to be tested at B if they do go towards it. Still pretty able to operate considering that flash was not good. Nothing forced him out of position. He was still sat comfortably. Wow, that was a slide and a half. Just slides out, catches him. Didn't expect that, but this is scrappy now. This is just going to get into that brutal fight. Snack somehow kind of, I guess the call was there. Yeah, definitely going to make the call to the teammates. You got to be careful on the Rap side of things, but for now, this is a very scary round for both teams.
Yeah, but Body's position is really interesting in this round because he's got CT spawn. Sunny has to be wary of spawn, but also be aware that the B bomb site can be under pressure from Banana. Obviously knows that, but more to the point, Rops can't really leave this A bomb site. He's got to be careful that they're not actually pinching towards the A site. They don't have that information, so Rops and Sunny are both frozen, all because of the position of Body. Now Snacks has to push down mid, sees that it's clear, so Rops is going to start rotating over. Big kill. Sunny can't get the read. All on Snacks on this flank, and Shox is already ready. They know they've cleared out this bomb site, so Shox has time to get perfect position, and does Snacks clear this out? Pop flash comes in, Shox is blind, doesn't want to peek with it, and they're going to back away. They're going to save, or they're going to try to.
Through all this madness, it does seem like maybe G2 have done enough to tame mousesports, and that is the case. They backed away, and as you said, that was very much on a lever there. That could have gone either way, depending on how that kill went. Maybe they could have locked it down, rotated in, but not even find.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is it wasn't even like the kill was obviously great to find for Body, but the fact that he just had that presence in CT spawn, that was won just by positioning and kind of map control. It just kept two players on mousesports frozen and not able to do anything. So G2 going to respond immediately with their 6th. Now there is still an AWP and an AK on board for mousesports, and Sunny and Oscar can both, actually Sunny, Oscar, and Snacks are sitting with a decent amount of cash. So another decent buy, another solid buy for mousesports is going to come out. So not out of it just yet is mousesports, but if G2 were to win this one and get that harsh reset, you know, in round 9, all of a sudden this is going to be a very strong offensive side.
Absolutely would be. And again, we go back in. Focus being called throughout the ranks on both sides, but the nades are doing a little bit of annoyance. One of them, but the double ops there. Oscar and Chris J, again, asked to deliver on this one. Chris J last time did, you know, do all right, but that slide out that came in was pretty surprising.
From existence, no less. Just going heads up with the offer. Well, here's Chris. He's clearing out top banana with that AWP. There's the jump to give the indication. No damage dealt. The tag through the half wall gets him, though. Smith's down to 35. He's had a real rough time over towards banana. Shox and Snacks destined to go head-to-head, and this time it's Snacks. First bullet. 1 bullet. Doesn't even need 2.
Quite the player, isn't he, when he does start feeling it out, but it's been a while since we've seen full Snacks in display, but Kenny's going to be tested on 2 fronts here. If he gets down Rops, Snacks will probably trade it out. We'll see. 44 seconds. They've got a lot of room to work with. Oscar's been forced back as well. G2 taking over some real estate here, starting to build up a fair amount. Rops did find Kenny, so that's a big denial, and Oscar's starting to read the play. He hears and probably sees his distance by this point. And Chris J trying to lock this down. Good luck, Existence. He actually delivers on that, and Chris J now left out in the cold, gives away his position. This is big work from them, but the bomb's still left down at the top of mid here.
Oh, that's tough. And actually, Rob's going to turn the corner with his knife out. He gets away somehow into Boiler. 15 seconds left on the clock. They can't even, I don't even think they can make it to B. Rob's can just aggress this, and actually, there's Body trying to book it. He's going to get tagged and slowed down. That might have been enough. This is going to be right on the edge. Chris J with 1 kill on Existence, and yeah, there's no time for this plant. Just barely not going to make it. Needed 1 or 2 more seconds. And G2 lose by timeout. And Chris J needs to be careful. Don't lose this up down the stretch. He wants to go for Smiths. And just barely gets away.
This is nail-biting stuff. Let's see the coaches, managers behind them. Close tabs on this.
That guy on the mousesports side, LMBT, he's got to be one of the more underrated coaches, I feel.
Very low-key, isn't
he?
he?
Yeah, he is. He's very chill. Not a lot. He's a shrouded in mystery. That one. Oh, nice shot from Kenny. I think he was even partially blind, but he spots Chris J behind the flames. That's a big, big find for G2.
It's the first time we're really seeing First Blood going their way in a little bit of time to be drawn, and also Orps getting opening picks that, not cleanly, I don't want to say that wasn't an easy pick to be had, but I mean, normally it's been once you'd work towards a site a little more. Existence really toying with them over by B. That's getting a bit scary there.
Also just getting the information. The second op has rotated over towards that B bomb, so you don't have to worry about it towards A. So the question is, do they pick up their pace and try and take this bomb site quick? Or do they kind of make mousesports sweat it out? And it seems like it's going to be a sweated out situation. Maybe thinking that Oscar would rotate the op back towards A once they realize it's been spotted. That's exactly what's happening. Actually, mousesports is gambling entirely on the fact that G2 doesn't want to go straight up against the op of Oscar that was over at the B bomb site, and that's not the case. G2's calling the bluff. All 5 players going to be in Banana. This is going to be a full-blown hit, and they don't even need to use utility. They don't know it, but there's no one at this bomb site. It's just going to be a free round. mousesports saying we don't really have the economy to afford losing everything, so we'll just gamble at A. And if they go B, we save. So 7th round for G2, but mousesports is still going to have things to play with in the next round.
What a statement, though, to come out from G2 as a pretty new roster into a tournament like this. You can argue same for Snacks and mousesports to a very small, not smaller degree. But the fact is that G2 have come into this with no expectation towards them. And they're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Taking it to a 3rd map, really good, but showing up on Inferno now is really nice from them.
Showing up in a big way. They got that hot start, right? They got up to that 5-1 lead after losing the pistol. When you see Terrorcides do that, it almost feels like it spells doom. It puts them right at that mark where it's like, yeah, we've gotten enough T rounds already. Everything else is a luxury. 7-3, but at least mousesports have preserved the buy, preserved the weapons that they can use. Nice shot from Kenny, and that actually turned out to be the only kill we saw in the round.
When you put it that way, yeah. You're right.
What a highlight. So many to pick from.
You know, the replay guy sat there like, well done, my job.
Yep, that's easy.
There it is, 1 in the books. And we're back underway. Obviously, this time, Chris J being punished. The money's being chipped away slowly but surely from mousesports. They are on that kind of final hurrah unless they start building back into this. Snack still on that shotgun.
Sometimes you just can't afford anything better. Well, he's dueled with Shock, so he knows G2 likes to put a player in towards Boiler, and actually Chris J burning. He does have a smoke. He didn't want to use it, and he's going to get punished.
He's been caught a couple of times now. He's being, I don't want to say outdone, but he's been out-positioned a couple of times, pressured in the incorrect ways that he can't find a way out of. So this is an issue for him.
Overall, throughout this half, Smiths and Existence have been the 2 working together to kind of take control of Banana, and they've done a great job. They've been able to kind of, even if they don't find kills, force back the Oppers without taking too much damage. This has been well done by those 2. A big part of the map that they're controlling for G2 on this T side. And now these past few rounds, they've had Kenny with a pick on Chris J and Banana. This round they get Chris J again, pushed out, not wanting to extinguish the Molotov. So another 5-on-4, and again, Snacks in these holes. He didn't see any pressure in the previous round when he had this position. He's going to get it here. Smoke comes out, and G2, if you run through that, it is a deadly, deadly decision to make.
Oh god, that thing is terrifying. This is like the one sort of position where it can be so scary, and he's waiting. He might see the foot pretty soon. There it is. It strikes. He gets one upgrade. It's time to go. Existence does get one back, but this is great from Snacks. From up on high, he does 2 big bits of damage that brought this back to a 3v3.
Now he just needs to live, though. He's done his job. He needs to keep that second front open for the retake, or maybe even a third when you have one player, Sunny, coming from small pit, one player up mid. That's Oscar, and Shox couldn't find a great position. Kenny, so much to do with this AWP. Trapped in the bomb site. Oh, he misses that shot. That's huge. Now that opens up the opportunity for Snacks to peek out, and Kenny's still alive, trusting his teammate to watch towards lane. The pressure from mousesports. Sunny's tagged, but the nades rain in, and there it goes. mousesports have their 4th, and G2 just couldn't find any spot to pick their battle.
Snacks in that shotgun, finding so much to start with, and the AK to finish with. 3 kills for him throughout this, and the play back in, of course, really came through, and that was very well done. You felt that maybe that was the time, you know, Kenny's going to hit that shot and things start going a bit wrong, going awry for him, but not to be.
Because of the presence of Snacks in those halls, no one from G2 could get in towards pit, and once Shox went down to Oscar coming up mid, it was just 2 players trapped inside the bomb site, 3 different choke points they had to watch, and it's just so untenable, especially when Kenny misses that first opportunity to find a pick and turn it into a 2-on-2. If both G2 members are able to look towards lane, they might have had something. Doesn't go their way, and now it's G2 who are running out of cash. mousesports have scrapped and fought just enough to stay alive in this half. 4-7. A win here to take away the cash, take away the guns of G2 would allow them to even up the score just a bit.
Teetering on an edge now, you can see the Molotovs being used. mousesports burning through their utility, being as sparing as they can. Noise being made, presence being shown, but not a move yet from G2.
Oh, I don't think Kenny spotted Snacks going towards under the porch. And silence across the map. 50 seconds left on the clock, and G2 this time don't have the luxury of an opening kill. They are going to take brackets control. mousesports didn't want to fight for it. 1 flashbang left for the defensive side. Couple smokes, a flash and a Molotov, and an HE nade for G2 as they start to progress. If they turn this corner, they will have to contend with Oscar with that AWP. A chance for him to make his mark on this game. And he will indeed get it, and he was patient. Body, couple different shoulder peeks, isn't going to fool Oscar, and he's going to go back for more, finds a second, and he's staying tuned. Even though he's locked in from halls and now lane, he's doing work, and Rops now pounces, and so does Snacks.
It's a shutdown from mousesports, finally starting to come alive here, showing what they have and what they can bring to the forefront. It felt like it'd been a little while since we'd seen them being so powerful into play, and into the final throes of the first half, they finally bring that score to a nicer point. The AWP in Oscar's hand is looking like it fits there once again. And I don't know what the money's like for G2, but I'm going to bet it's not looking so hot right now.
That's great from Oscar. Kind of I mentioned on the desk, he's had quiet games, and he hasn't been the typical Oscar that we know to just be like dynamic and have those, 1-on-3s, 1-on-4s. But he's getting the job done here on this rap side with a couple of kills to help them hold down that A-site defense. 7-5. G2 still in the lead, but they've kind of lost the grip, I think, on this half. It was up 5-1 at one point. And the tough part is mousesports now have the cash is flowing. They're able to get their weapons, they're able to sustain some losses and still have strong buys. So mousesports is finally, at about round 11 or 12, kind of stabilized in this matchup. Ooh, great utility. Body down to 15, Smith's down to 40. Good nades. The Molotov going to slow things as well. Sunny and Chris J don't even really need to peek. No utility for this G2 side. They want the mistakes. They want the picks. Sunny's found the opening kill. Going for more as well as Shox is caught out in the open.
This is... Chris J, what are you up to?
Yeah.
I mean, the round's probably yours, but let's
calm it down.
Yeah, just chill. Look, I know a lot of people are thinking about football right now, Chris J, but...
He's like, I want to see the game too.
This is... No. You hold on. 7-5. Sweaty palms. Not because of this game. Kenny S in existence. Maybe trying to do a little bit of something here, but you've got 50 seconds. I don't know how much you're going to get done. Working their way up towards A. You've got Snacks to get past first, gets the attention. Where's Kenny S in all this? Slowly building through the apartments, but there is a man watching for this, and he's over in towards Graveyard. So the plan, not gonna happen here for G2. Existence gets to an annoying spot, but you've got 20 seconds, and I don't see much coming else from this.
No, not at all. Existence goes down 6-7. If mousesports somehow come out with a lead in this half, that will be very impressive. We've seen them. We saw it in the previous map have to really grind some rounds in their favor. Some scrappy rounds as well. And it's getting to that point now. And ever since mousesports was able to build up some money, some economy, and have solid buys repeatedly, G2 haven't had a consistent answer to overcoming it. But it's all right. 7 rounds in your T side, no matter what happens, like it's still a very, very good T side, especially considering you lost the pistol. Oscar now feeling a little bit more confidence. Also there to back up his teammate. Snacks wants to make a play. He's hungry for it. Gonna push down. And he's frozen here at the bench. They could peek him from alt mid, but he's just kind of trusting that it won't happen. Yeah, good pick from Oscar is gonna open things up for Snacks, but now he's been spotted out. Existence knows it's Smiths who's under the most pressure as he can't really swing. Actually, he can. They're in the bomb site, and that's a good find. That is a good headshot from Smiths.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's even the playing field, even if just slightly, it gives them a way back through here. Damage already been done towards mousesports as well. Rops is sitting far worse than ideal. Down to 46 HP. Oscar took a little bit of an exchange early, but if you're looking at G2's side, they don't have much ground gain. I guess the one thing is that B's completely clear of players.
I've seen mousesports take that risk a couple times, and I think now because there's no strike towards A very quickly, it's going to be Chris J getting back in position, but he's being cautious. He's taking the long route towards Coffins, and Shock's just trying to create a distraction, trying to find one. Is he going to hunt down Rops? He's spotted Oscar, but he's not aware of Rops. Now the B hit has to come in. There's one player, Existence, very far back. It's going to be 2 men to attack this early on, and the smoke from Chris J is going to make this so tough. The longer that G2 waits, they're getting boxed in. Sonny's got the flank, and actually Existence taking far too long. Somehow wins that fight anyways, and opens up the retreat. This round has gone to hell, and mousesports, they are trying to recover, and they don't know where the hit is going to come from.
I mean, I don't know even more. 20 seconds, they've got to go right now. It's got to be towards A. There's no stopping them now. But there's still a player here. And if he slows them down even just a second, this could be all but over. 10 seconds. It's down to the wire. Oscar's there in support as well. The attention, it's not towards Rops. And there's the killing blow. No time for the plant. It's all falling apart in the last couple of seconds now. And there it is. All back into this. mousesports finally put their foot down. This is the performance you want to be starting to see.
Oh, I don't know how mousesports recovered from that. Sonny allows them to fall back, and they still... Rops had a great reposition because Shock's got out of his position in the pit, and they had to be honest with that. They had to try and clear that out, but he's actually moved himself into the bomb site, and that one kill from Oscar from Library with the AWP really seals it, really solidifies the strength of Rops' position. 7-7 as this first half is starting to come to a close as we have a tactical timeout here between for G2 as they talk things over. They've... had quite some time. It's been 4 rounds straight. 4 rounds straight for the mousesports side. This double ops coming alive. It's Rops leading the way for mousesports. 13-7, 11-10 on Oscar. On G2, it's 11-10 for Kenny, and actually 10 kills for Existence as he is second in line.
Yeah, it feels like they finally got the answer down. I don't know what it necessarily was. The double ups were there before, and they didn't necessarily provide as much as they have in the last stretch. But whatever it is, they've really locked it in. So good to see mousesports bounding back. It felt like maybe that dream storyline of G2 turning up with this new roster, rolling back the years. it could have been a thing, but they're going to have to work for it. They're going to have to fight for it. You've got to show how bad you want it. So far, so good for them.
Well, they won one of these earlier. CZ's in a P250. It was when they waterfalled out of the halls. Snacks had been dropped at Graveyard. And here we go. They're slowing it down this time. Still plenty of utility for the French side, making sure that there's no aggression in Banana. Shock's in Existence just to be cautious. They may use some utility over there just to try and keep the defense from rotating, from cheating over. Equally, G2 doesn't want to have to run through smokes. They're at enough disadvantages with the pistols. 45 seconds left on the clock, and Oscar hasn't budged off of his position on Rap side.
See if they read it right. The timing is everything. The nade comes in, the flash comes out. It's going to offset the timing for the play through the apartments. The damage is pretty good too. Rops now needs to prepare himself. The player's coming in. He does catch out one, turns it on the second. This is a shutdown. mousesports, again, start to stabilize at the end of this first half here in the third map. And this is where it gets to scary territory. This is where you got to close. Let's see what G2 can do on that CT side as well. That's the next big thing, is we've not seen that yet really here. I have not seen enough of this team just yet.
No, I mean, still some questions to be answered, but you have to say that's a good first half. Despite the fact that mousesports ends that first half on a 5-0 run, 6 of 7, you still have to feel like G2 did enough early on in that half to get up that big lead. This 7-3 scoreline you see, they did just enough, and they have all the rounds that they potentially need for that T side. Now you get to see Kenny S, CT side, Inferno with the AWP. We've seen him dominated in the past. And here we go. Pistol round coming up, second half. Body's got utility, nade flash, smoke. No kits on the defensive side, and actually they want to get aggressive down mid. Oh, they want to uppercut. This could be so cool, but Rops shuts him down before it begins, but he's not aware of how many. Now he hears the footsteps. He's got a second, but immediate response from G2, and they actually overdo it. They get 4 straight kills on the defensive side, and it's just Chris J. He's got no armor, down to 37 health. He does have the bomb. But where do you go? He spotted Kenny, so he can at least avoid that danger. But he's got quite a tall task on his hands.
Yeah, a little scary. He's been chipped away at now as well. He's down to 7 HP. And even further insult to injury, he's just lobbed a smoke down at him. I mean, I love the aggression from G2, though. That's the sort of push you want to be seeing. That's the sort of play. But Chris J now.
I guess we'd call that a BDP of sorts. That is a really sick call from G2. Remember, they closed out Dust 2 as well with that aggressive call of Shocks pushing mid and Kenny S to back him up. At least Chris J looks like he's gonna, at the bare minimum, he's gonna get a plant out of this, as G2 have to kind of split up. I'm gonna be aware it's the B bomb site. Smoke is gonna go down. Plant is gonna be beautiful, but winning this would be incredible, and he's playing a risky game. Dodging bullets, he can't even take one of them. Lucky to hear them whiz past his head. Now the footsteps. And he knows he's got to do something creative to try and win this, and he's just waiting for the smoke. And now they know. It's starting to clear, and they just spam it and push forward. Would have been incredible if he was able to win that, but the plant is enough on its own.
Love the aggression from G2 there. Take matters into your own hands, push it. It felt like they overstepped, though. You said it. It almost got a little bit scary on that turnaround from Rops.
Now, can a team, I'm hearing cheers somewhere.
Oh my God. No.
I'm hearing a lot of cheers.
I'm a little nervous if you haven't noticed.
You're on edge. Can a team win the second round after winning the pistol as well? That would be so massive. In such a close game, 8-8.
I'm about to be very excited, I can imagine. Right now, Smoke goes towards middle. No, I'm on the real game here. It's 8-8. It's a close one. It's fun. And this buy coming in from mousesports. Ooh, it's a scorcher.
Risky. They've had some ballsy buys, I guess we'll call them. Dropping the AK-47s. This is cool to see. You do like to see these AKs dropped over. What can Oscar and Snacks open up for us? Decent amount of utility as well. And do they just want to do a straight up execute? They have all 5 players in Banana. They're not being slow-paced, just marching their way up, right, towards the end. Shocks and Body. This might even just be a contact play. They want to surprise Shocks and Body with these AK-47s, and you don't mind that. There's the smoke, and actually they're going to throw one of their own. Here they come. Nade comes out, and actually Snacks falls right into it. Does get the kill. Shocks needs more. They know his position. He's got a second. He's going to do more. He gets all 3. That's huge. Flashbang comes in. The damage is done. Shocks has done his job and more. And there's existence through the smoke, helping to clean it out. 8-8, Chris J again, just like the pistol, 5 HP, nothing to do. If he gets a plant out of that, it would be huge, but that's about all you can hope for, and Smiths is even here to stop that from happening.
Chris J hoping for a miracle at this point. As you said it, there's already a player in position. There it is, denied. G2, again, maintaining.
Again, maintaining. That's the first time this has happened. That's the first time a team has won the pistol
game,
and the ensuing round in the entire series. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Shocks.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of an impact that has. Yeah, this is beautiful from Shocks. Just an SMG to his name. Takes down 3 players. Does massive damage onto those remaining ones. Allows Existence to get essentially a free kill through the smoke. 9-8. G2 with the lead. And it's back to just Glocks from mousesports. Congratulations to all my UK friends out there tuning in.
Oh, it's a good time.
It's coming home. I hear it's coming home.
Don't start me off. I'll start singing and no one wants that. Absolutely no one. G2 might be saying the same thing here. They might be working their way forward in a surprising event that you probably wouldn't have expected if they keep this up, Alex. As you said, first time we've seen that first round converted into the second. Now they should run with it. The money should be in the right place for them and they can go forward. We're seeing Body being aggressive. We've seen assertive plays for them. It's looking like it's good signs.
All positive things. Kenny with a kill on a Snacks, just marching up middle. Body and Shocks have a very nice setup in Banana, and actually it might not even matter as Kenny just peers down mid. Shocks does clean up 1 kill with a pistol, but Kenny finds the final. 10-8, G2 with a 2-round lead. They've won the first 3 rounds of this half. Remember, because of that buy, because of the dropped AK-47s, we're not going to see an AWP on this T side in the first gun round. We know it has deficiencies on this side of the map, but you have to imagine at some point Chris J and Oscar are going to, one of them is going to lean towards it.
mousesports look a little timid, to say the least here. They don't have much step to this map. Still working their way up middle now. Rob's trying to get any sort of control he can through the apartment. We're seeing that break towards middle. It goes well. It catches out Existence. He did not expect that amount of pace coming off the back of these Shocks, turning the flash. That's caught too. That's a big bit of impact. He even sees a third call going to be made. But Body falls to the fire. And Chris J and Rops combine to do some massive damage.
A huge miscue. Body didn't need to swing. Shocks had both the kills, and he was already committed to the fight. That's harsh. Kenny's going to go for this, though. He's got the kit. He's got an AK-47. That Molotov doesn't entirely help him. Wanted it to be deeper into the bomb site. And Rops, I think, just kind of has him checkmated. He's at top mid. Someone else knows he can't wrap around the bomb site. He's got to expect Chris J to be on the side. Here's the footsteps as well. Now he can take the fight. He spots the head. Chris J buying time. Flash coming out as well. Kenny turns, and there's the swing from Chris. Had Kenny in an awkward spot. That's going to be a lot of weaponry gone for G2. Big investment in that round that doesn't pan out. They're going to buy again. They have plenty of cash for it, but a good win from mousesports. A great entry from Sunny. This is what I'm talking about. Shocks gets these 2 kills and decides to just fall away, but Body's already dedicated. Now, that would have been fine if him and Shocks were coordinated and they double peeked it. If Shocks swung out wide and Body came out right after him, whatever it might have been. But because it was the other way, everything kind of collapses, and obviously Body gave up position towards lane, towards those halls to come support Shocks, and that's where they got burned afterwards. Timeout from G2 as they want to respond immediately.
See what they can create. Again, Shocks, very vocal in this. Existence on the end of the discussion, though, so again, all being processed through. And what a nail-biter of a game we're having here. I'm loving the caliber of play that's coming out from both of these sides. We want to see Oscar turn up. I think he's warmed up. I don't think we're seeing Oscar in the form that he can be in. Like, he's definitely not the game changer you'd expect.
Haven't seen his final form. Not just yet. Usually happens until, you know, 2nd or 3rd season.
God.
Nice shot from Kenny. Opening kill, and Smiths follows it up. He's taken out a 7 HP, but he'll be happy with that. He'll be more than happy with that. Bomb is down. They don't even need to hold it, but a 5-on-3 advantage for G2. That's huge.
That's massive. And to get Smith out there alive, even if he's just to be traded on later, that's just such a win. Even spotting the bomb all works well. Can't overread into it, though. Can't swing too many people away. You still have Shocks over here, and that SMG in his hands. For some reason, it worked well last time. Molotov goes in. He has to be careful now. Doesn't want to get overwhelmed.
That made me nervous because you're in a 5-on-3, and yeah, even though Smiths is a bit beat up and bruised at 7 health, there's no reason in a 5-on-3 to only have one defender at this B bomb site. Just play it standard, play it default, and if you really want to cheat someone towards A, just have them play in spawn to have some counter flashes in case a hit does come in towards this B bomb site. But you obviously want to be able to hold on to this. Comes a smoke. Shox is going to be blocked off. He can run through that with the SMG. He's completely blind. There's the counter flash, and there's the push. Now Shox can get into some relative safety. His teammate has fallen, but Oscar's down. Shox, we've seen this position before, and he's going to do the same thing all over again. The dink and the finish off by Kenny with the op. 11-9 as G2. They don't let mousesports string rounds together. They avoid a reset. They avoid an economic collapse, and it's mousesports who now have the decision to make on what they want to buy.
See what they've got to work with. Coming up against G2, I mean business. Looking on the other side, it looks like they've opted for Sweet Soddle, P250. I don't see much else really. Yeah, nothing else upgraded. Just one P250 on Sunny. He's on 2.8 anyway, so beyond that, all clean. Praying for a plant. Unlikely to happen. You never know. They've been very good at these rounds, but this one they've literally not invested in. So, again, not expected to get much out of.
Yeah, nice target practice for Kenny, though. And Existence, for that matter. Let's not forget him. 3 kills and 2 for Kenny. They combined to wipe mousesports off the map. Another purchase coming in now, the AKs. Oscar can get the op if he wants. The trouble is he wouldn't be able to have armor. So that's a decision that you have to make. And obviously on a map like this with the narrow choke points, the nades, and the Molotovs, you really do want that armor. It helps.
Really does.
It really does.
Get armor. It helps.
Pro tip.
Should do those little in-game tips, you know, the ones that are kind of completely useless by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do some of them.
Okay.
Cool.
I can do that.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, in the game we go.
Ooh, Kenny had a chance, and Existence is actually going to get aggressive. They're actually pinching towards base banana, and somehow Sunny just runs around the corner. Didn't have the intel, but Rops, the equalizer, is there. That's a big kill. It's just Kenny at this A bomb site. He's all alone with the op, and Existence still at the base of mid. They have no idea. Free kill for him. Even if he misses, there's some bullets. Even if he misses about 10 bullets, still able to get the kill.
And Kenny got aggressive in apps. Like, he's showing so much presence for just one man that it's going to keep him on their toes. I mean, if you're mousesports, even though you had a bit of a jump in this to I don't know, weird margin, you can't capitalize on it now.
That's kind of what you mentioned in the first half when mousesports had the ops on the CT side, and you were saying, you know, they started out and didn't really have a great impact. And you see Kenny here, he peeks down mid, he has 1 kill to his name as he peeks towards ult mid. Now he's peeked in towards those A halls, so he's all over the place, and he's going to start making mousesports kind of guess where he's at, and that's going to be a huge, huge thorn in their side in this half. Is figuring out where Kenny is and preventing taking damage from him in that AWP. You got to love how aggressive G2 is being on this CT side.
It's well timed too. It doesn't feel misplaced. It doesn't feel badly done. It feels like it's right. It feels like they've got the right balance to it, which is, it's hard to achieve. I think anyone can say that. You never want to overstep, but again, aggression kind of encourages you to do it. But let's look towards B now. That is where the bomb's going to go. A couple of flashes, well, a smoke and a Molotov, and that's all they've got to work with. Existence is blind, but Body turns his, so he can do some damage here. Gets a little bit of fire through, gets 2 out of the back of that. That's really good work from him with 9 seconds. Snacks, it's unlikely even for a man of his caliber. It's done. It's over. G2 looking very good going forward.
Why has that SMG been so effective at the B bomb site? Shox is like 5 kills with it. Body now has 2 onto it at the end. Pretty sick. 13-9 mousesports. Can't really figure it out. 1 round in this half. It was the only round. It's 6-1 run now for G2 as they've taken a commanding lead, and they have just so much money. 8,000 on Existence, 7,000 on Shox, 7,000 on Kenny. They can rebuy, they can sustain losses, and to the B bomb site we go. All 5 players. We'll see how Existence and Shox handle a rush. Early nade damage is pretty good. Counter flashes coming out, counter Molotovs as well. And that is a bit too much. Existence, he goes for the peek and the spray. He's got to reload, but they know, and look at the flank.
Body's waiting as well. Gonna hear every step of this. Calls to be made to Smiths. Get ready, they are coming your way. And from the depths, he strikes. Body finding Sunny, pops back up, sprays in, gets another, but Smiths gets overwhelmed, but it's the bomb that came back around. So that falls into enemy's hands, and Snacks, too late to the party, gets hit by the nade, and you know you're just reeling off the back of that.
Oh, that is a great shot. Kenny goes down. That's just too much to ask for Snacks. The AWP is recovered, and yeah, nice push down and just so much utility used by Existence and Shocks. mousesports knew that B-Rush wasn't going to work, and a timeout is called by them as they're on the verge of losing this best of 3 to an upstart G2. Nicely done from Body. All the information. You can mismanage a play like this very easily, and he handles it well. Gets the kill onto Rops as well, and peeks back up with the USP. 14-9.
How much of an upset is this?
I think it's a pretty big upset.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my head around because I genuinely didn't expect it. I thought it'd kind of be the same, I hate to say it, but somewhat lackluster G2 to a degree. I'm really pleasantly surprised to be wrong.
Well, the way that Smiths gave that interview made it sound like, because here's what they're not going to get. I think teams will, obviously, they'll either ban Dust 2 or Inferno against them. Like, you'll take one of those maps away. Another question becomes, you really haven't had that much time together. Do you have a deep map pool? And with that interview, I mean, you could tell Smiths was just saying, yeah, we're confident in Dust 2. Obviously, Inferno, he said, was going to be no problem. They're confident in that one. But Mirage, he kind of knew that they were just, you know, not really set for it. So the question becomes, after this best of 3, is when teams start banning their strengths, and maybe the 2 or 3 maps that they've prepared for, can they actually win a 3-map series?
I'm looking forward to finding the answer if they do win this. I really am. I think that is a really fun way to see this go down. But there's still life in mousesports. It's not over yet for them. It's close, but it's not over yet. Now, let's see what we're seeing. We have one man holding onto B. It's just Shocks. But maybe he can rise to the occasion, already to find the first big blow to be struck towards mousesports, to lose out on one so freely.
Well, out of the timeout. 4-on-5, heading towards this A bomb site. 4 defenders here. All that's left is to line up and throw the smokes, but this is not going to be pretty. Smith's double spray down for him. Oscar does trade him off eventually, but the damage is done. Chris J goes down as well, and Oscar, he's got everything to do, and he can't even get over the railing. 15-9, G2, 1 round away from taking this winner's best of 3.
And that means that the Cologne stage awaits. Huge round coming up for them now. This could propel them forward. As mousesports, what can they scrap together here? Oh,
it's not about what they can buy, is it? It's about what solution they have tactically, because they've just been shut down on this T side.
Absolutely. It has fallen a little flat. You look at what we saw on Mirage, for example, it was a lot of a different story, but that's not the case here. It's a different map, it's a different time. And it looks like they're playing against a different team. G2 truly coming alive in these final throws here. But I don't know what mousesports can get done now.
Well, same thing, other side of the map. They have been shut down here a number of times. Shocks now has the AWP and swinging into a bit of an off angle. Not a whole lot of nades to waste flashing him off this angle, but they're going to do it anyways, it looks like. Snacks has one in his hands. No, they're not. Just a dry peek, a dry swing from Chris J. They talked about this on the desk, the amount of entry attempts that Chris had and the amount of entry deaths he had. There's no one to even follow that up. So maybe some miscommunication from the mousesports side on how exactly they wanted to attack this bomb site, but that's too easy.
It's not how you expect that to go, especially in a round like this. And Body showing presence. You already had Existence cheat over quite early as well. Going to fall himself towards Speedway so he can sit in between. Nice quick rotate if needed. Smokes go up. It's time to go. The flashes are good, though. The limited amounts they have for mousesports. But now they need to break the side. Shocks is still there, playing in between the... Oh, my word. That's a shot on Sunny. But there's the SMG up close and personal. That seems where Snacks can thrive. But 3 players standing for mousesports and 3 for G2 now. And Body on the verge of trying to get back into this. But they need to wait. They need to hold until the others come back around and then try and play it back together. You have Smiths coming up on Banana. Rops, though, could just deny this.
He's been spotted out. Smits knows where he is. Body's done a great job surviving, but it is all on this. Flashbang comes over to delay Smits even longer. The bomb just about halfway ticked. Big win for Smits. Now Snacks and Oscar trapped at the back of the bomb site along the wall. Kenny has him pinned down, has him cordoned in, and it's all Oscar. 1 versus 3, and he's got the first, but not the second. That's going to be it. That's going to be G2 taking this series. A surprise win for G2 in a best of 3. They shocked us earlier with Na'Vi, and they continue to impress here.
Lovely game from those boys. They can be truly proud of what they did there. People could have looked at their result earlier and gone, best of 1, pushed it aside. You could not deny best of 3s against a team like mousesports. Sure, they put in a new player, but rising to the occasion was G2. Their map pull, we don't know how deep it goes, but from what we've seen so far, it's looking quite fun. Let's head back down to the analysis to break that one down.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Yes, indeed. Not only do we see G2 performing, but football is indeed coming home. I'm joined by Chad and Yanko to break this one down just a little bit further.
I'm British.
You've got a passport, so you count, and you're applying for a 10-year visa, so you count.
Yeah. So we're all
I don't
British.
have that much money to apply for a 10-year visa for the UK. I applied for a 2-year one, and that's like, if I get paid for this event on time, like I might go through the application all the way.
Fantastic. Counter-Strike happened,
Can I start, Alex, by saying in the last map, I really praised Chris J for some fantastic heads-up entry plays with making a lot of impact.
Did. Prefacing your statement, I imagine.
Yeah, so this time round on the CT side, he was exploited towards the top of Banana, picked off more often than not, and forced a lot of 4v5 situations that mousesports were unable to convert. It really hurt me.
Okay, I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
Okay, I said Oscar was going to have a good game. He didn't underperform to the same extent he did in Mirage.
Had a better game.
Yeah.
So
not an
if we take Mirage into the factor and then look at this game, we could say it was a good game.
Sure, let's do that. Let's go for a good game.
But if we want to be honest now about the way that G2 actually... Look, here's the crazy thing. Structure, star players, playing well, thriving in conditions, it's looking good. I don't want to... Like, this isn't... Okay,
let's be careful. We've got excited before. Yeah.
Okay, stand-in situation, not as always a full-time member, but recently added to the team. Lots of teething. I don't want to say time. But positive signs, I think. I think positive signs for G2 early. I think that's the best thing that I can take from this, positive signs.
I think it's much more positive, and it looks much better than anyone could have expected, really, in such a short time span from this team. You know, there's been legitimate questions about how good is Smits going to be? Is he going to be any good at all? He's been a coach for, you know, a full year or even more than that. Now he has to jump back into Tier 1 CS. Existence, yes, he has been playing. But with LDLC, is that going to work out? Can Body like step up a little bit in terms of fragging? But you know, it seems like for now, they are figuring things out in a good way.
Yeah, and we actually have an opportunity to hear from Existence. It's been a long time since I got to have an Existence interview.
I'm excited.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Trace, I'm sure, is excited as well. Existence and Trace, why don't you guys take it away?
That is the name of the team, and my name is Trace Ranthus, of course. Perhaps I'm being counted down for nothing. Go, go, go. And once again, to be like good.
They can't hear it either.
That was the casters. They're just hanging out as well.
Well, they're celebrating.
Yeah, Existence, a man of very few words.
Well, he used all his words at the game, Alex.
He was, yeah. Unfortunately, people aren't aware.
Everything's falling apart. The flag is off.
People don't realize that Existence actually is a mute. He leads through sign language.
You don't see it on the stream.
It's dark,
it doesn't
actually.
Yeah, actually.
Oh. Anyway, memes aside, guys.
Yeah, but I think it was a good game. Something that we touched upon in the pre-match that actually did happen was the op on the CT side for G2. Like out, I think 6 rounds, they got an entry kill with the op, or 5 rounds, 3 times it was Kenny, 2 times it was Shocks. So they even picked up the double op setup, which I said it's in general it's not very good, but against mousesports right now, who is struggling, because they just put snacks in, their defaults are not as solid as they used to be. That can be an advantage for you to pick them off in moments where they're not using the flashes maybe correctly, or they're not forcing you out of positions with Molotovs and so on. And it was just a very, very good CT side from G2. And you have to remember, they started off 0-9 against Na'Vi on their CT side on Inferno. So a massive turnaround in a matter of a couple of hours.
I don't think there's any criticism that can be levied or excuses that can be levied or anything that will disregard or devalue G2's placement in the playoffs here.
No.
Na'Vi best of one, impressive. mousesports with snacks best of 3 on Mirage and Dust 2. I think there's a lot of credit to be given here.
Yeah, I feel that Dust 2 pick was very brave of them, and the fact they were able to convert and how close that first map got is very impressive in that regard. Obviously, we weren't expecting a lot of Mirage, and then here they were well prepared on Inferno. Yeah. So legit all over, I think the one, if we are ever going to paint one, is the fact that mousesports, they've kind of lost their backbone, because if you think about what Sticker would have done to allow players to make plays without them having to just do it through a smoke or something completely random, you have to maybe factor that in a little bit. But otherwise, look, it's a legit win. I think it's good signs. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but it is positive signs.
Positive signs. The Group A bracket will tell you the majority of the story as well, because we're talking about these best of 3s. We actually did the majority from Group A. And now, feast your eyes on this with the beautiful Dom in the background, the cathedral that stood the war. We do have Astralis, of course, picking themselves up a quick win versus Ents, but keep your eyes on that Ents name, because when we take a look at the lower bracket, you'll notice something quite spicy. They sent the ninjas in pajamas home, and they did so with ease. The Swedes did not make it past day 1. What is going on there?
I think even for this, you can't say like NIP underperformed or something like that. Like even if NIP underperforms, they need to be able to beat a team like Ents, because they still have some inexperienced players. The firepower, even it's arguably whether it's there when you compare them against some of the tier 1 teams. And obviously, you need to give props to Ents with such a young and inexperienced squad. Obviously, you had guys like Alu, the veteran and leading the team by example on that AWP. And keep an eye out for Sergey. He is one hot little potato.
Jalapeno. Ents are taking mousesports on now then because of this
That's
loss.
an interesting matchup, I think, because the team in this whole situation that have more structure will be Ents, which when you're going up against the mousesports, maybe that's something that could unravel them. Here versus G2, the structure, the strats playing well in the mid-round.
There are so many big games happening here, and this is like day 2.
Well, we've already lost Gambit and NIP.
Yeah, but look at this. You ready? So we have Ents Mouse. Genuinely could see an Ents win there, and that would be ridiculous.
Then
Cloud9 Na'Vi, that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure. I want to see Na'Vi in the playoffs. And that's a Limbs.
Who loses that is out. You have MIBR phase.
It might be our phase tomorrow. My goodness, it keeps going. Fnatic Big, I cannot wait to see if we get anything exciting out of Big. They beat Team Liquid today. I mean, a couple of asterisks there, here and there, but if they get in front of that crowd, I know we'll see some tears in the eyes of Tizian.
It's a good matchup for them as well. Fnatic not playing with a lot of structure, really. So on that T side, Big being known to play with a lot of structure, use a lot of utility, they can negate some of those individual plays that Fnatic is definitely going to try and go for.
Yeah, and just to kind of wrap out the day as well, we can bring up tomorrow's schedule so you know when you can go ahead and put in your calendar to go ahead and watch your favorite teams. It's going to be starting with North versus Team Liquid. Then we will be having FaZe MIBR. We talked about that one, and Fnatic Big to round out that day. So some big games coming up over the next 2 days. They're just doing all those games we're getting hyped about. They are distributed. It's all best of 3s from now on. You'll see they'll be rolling through in the next couple of days in Cologne here with myself and our various analysts and casters. That's it for today. We're going to be ending it with a lovely treat for you. It is, of course, Moments That Deliver from DHL. And we'll see you tomorrow for more from ESL One.